Hello, Professor Sargent here with you again. We've been investigating a particular question, and this is a little bit out of order compared to the order of uploads, but something to take a look at. We've been investigating this question, and we have come up with a conjecture that the sum of the first two square roots is greater than or equal to the square root that we have at the end. This has an algebraic feel to it, x and y. You might think you could graph with x and y. What if instead we introduce a third variable, z, and graph three-dimensionally? It's not immediately obvious that the one in blue is the z-axis, but if I were to put in one more thing here, check out how a constant value of z is moving up along that blue axis. That is the z-axis then. Let's graph the sum first of all. Okay, so that's what we had on the left-hand side. And let's also call z the individual square root that we had. If, in fact, the sum of the first two is greater than or equal to the individual square root at the end, then at best, these two surfaces could touch. Otherwise, the first one should be above along the z-axis. It's a little tough to tell if, in fact, the first one is at best touching or above. It may be. Let's change the color on the individual square root. This also allows us to move things around. It does seem like this may be the case, that the first one, where we have the sum of those two square roots, is greater than or equal to, but we're also looking at a limited window, so perhaps what we see in purple here might go below later on. Hard to tell. It's a lot more than I checked with arithmetic originally. Let's also try one other thing here. If the first, where we have the sum of those two square roots, really is greater than or equal to, then we could also look at this as subtracting that second thing, and then that should be greater than or equal to 0. So is what we're seeing in purple always above the plane z equals 0? Again, quite possibly. It's a little hard to tell when we rotate this around, but perhaps still we're looking at a limited window. Well, this does give us at least some indication that the conjecture may be correct. More soon.